If you're a diehard Browns fan and love breaking down the game like we do, hit that subscribe button and turn on the bell so you never miss a blitz. The Cleveland Browns week overseas has already taken a turn for the dramatic, and we're not even talking about game day yet. Let's start with some much-needed positive news on the injury front, because for the Browns, staying healthy has often felt like half the battle. Thursday's report, though technically just an estimation since the team only went through a walkthrough in England, revealed that superstar defensive end Myles Garrett was upgraded from not practicing at all to being listed as limited. Now, if you've been following this team, you already know that Garrett's status is always a story. He's the heart of Cleveland's pass rush, the kind of player who demands a double team on every snap. And when he's not at full strength, the entire complexion of this defense shifts. Head coach Kevin Stefanski was careful with his words earlier in the week, calling Garrett day-to-day during his Wednesday presser, but the upgrade, however minor, is still an encouraging sign that he could be ready to roll when it matters. Garrett's production speaks for itself. 4 sacks already on the year, 8 tackles for loss, and another 8 quarterback hits to his name. He's not just good, he's relentless, and he sets the tone for everyone else on that side of the ball. The Browns' defense has built its identity around physicality and pressure, and Garrett is the engine that makes the whole machine hum. A limited listing is far better than the dreaded DNP designation, and Browns fans can exhale, at least a little, for now. But in true Browns fashion, one piece of good news usually comes with another piece that makes you wince. Cornerback Greg Newsome was added to the injury report with a hamstring issue, listed as limited. And for a team that relies heavily on its secondary to complement that ferocious pass rush, any tweak to a starter like Newsome immediately becomes a headline. We've seen how fragile hamstring injuries can be, how they linger and flare up at the worst times, so his status will definitely be worth monitoring. Meanwhile, right tackle Jack Conklin continues to fight through an elbow injury, once again listed as limited. Conklin has been battling health issues for what feels like years now, and every snap he's able to give this team is valuable. Then you've got some movement in a more encouraging direction. Safety Grant Delpit, who had been slowed by a back issue, was upgraded to full participation. That's huge, because Delpit's versatility in coverage and run support is something the Browns rely on heavily. Tight end David Njoku also moved from limited to full with his knee, and if Cleveland wants to give its quarterback, whoever that may be, the best chance to succeed, having Njoku healthy as both a blocker and pass catcher is critical. Unfortunately, not all the news is good. Defensive tackle Mike Hill Jr. did not make the trip overseas at all due to his knee injury, and he's already been ruled out. Losing depth in the trenches is never ideal, especially when you're trying to contain NFL-caliber rushing attacks across the pond. So yes, there's a lot going on with the Browns' injury picture, and Stefanski's challenge now is to piece it all together in a way that keeps this team competitive. But if we're being honest, the real storm circling Cleveland right now isn't about who's limited or who's practicing. It's about a quarterback room that has suddenly become the epicenter of controversy. Let's talk Shedeur Sanders. Over the past couple of days, his name has been trending, and not for the reasons any young quarterback would want. After the Browns announced that Dillon Gabriel would take over as the team's starting quarterback moving forward, the spotlight immediately swung towards Sanders, who many had assumed would at least be in the conversation. Everyone wanted to know, how would Shedeur react to essentially being sidelined in the competition? And what we got wasn't words, wasn't a thoughtful response about staying ready, wasn't even the standard, "I'll do whatever the team needs" line. Instead, Sanders went full mime. Literally, he mouthed words without speaking, as if he were a silent actor in some performance art piece, and the clip instantly went viral. Now, in today's NFL, where every gesture, every facial expression, every tweet can explode online within minutes, this sort of thing becomes a bigger story than it probably should. Some fans defended Sanders, arguing that he has every right to avoid feeding media narratives. Why give the press a soundbite they can twist when silence, or in this case, exaggerated fake silence, can make your point just as effectively? But on the other side, critics called the act immature, attention-seeking, and flat-out bizarre. And it wasn't just random Twitter users making those points. Former Super Bowl champion Jason McCourty went on the Jim Rome show to share his thoughts, and he did not hold back. McCourty's perspective carries weight. This is a guy who spent 13 seasons in the league, who's seen locker rooms thrive and implode, and he knows the importance of perception in the NFL. His take was that Sanders has to recognize the difference between being a college star and being an NFL quarterback, even a third-string one. In college, Sanders was the focal point, the headline act, the guy everyone wanted to hear from. In the pros, especially when you're buried on the depth chart, the attention you get is often less about your play and more about how you react to situations outside your control. And that's a tough adjustment. McCourty pointed out that no team wants its third-string quarterback going viral for antics in the locker room. If you're going to make headlines, it better be for what you're doing on the field, not for silent protests or meme-worthy interviews. The heart of McCourty's message was simple: maturity matters. He acknowledged that transitioning from being the man in college to being just another guy in the NFL can be frustrating. The media might come to you not to celebrate your performance, but to stir the pot, to get a reaction about someone else's success or your own demotion. That can sting, and it's understandable. But as McCourty put it, the league is about growing up, about handling situations you didn't anticipate with professionalism. Sanders' mime act, while maybe funny to some, doesn't scream future franchise quarterback. It screams frustration without direction, and that's the kind of thing that can quietly erode a coaching staff's trust. What's fascinating here is how this single moment could have ripple effects. Kevin Stefanski now has to manage not just injuries, not just X's and O's, but locker room dynamics shaped by social media. Imagine being in his shoes. You're preparing your team in a foreign country, trying to figure out if your best defensive player will be ready to go, trying to piece together a secondary with injuries piling up, and meanwhile, your third-string quarterback is dominating headlines for pretending to be a mime in front of reporters. This is the modern NFL in a nutshell. The game doesn't stop on the field. It continues in press conferences, on Instagram, on viral clips shared 1 million times over. And here's the thing. Shedeur Sanders still has the talent. He's still got the pedigree, the name, the skill set that could someday make him a starter in this league. But moments like this, fair or not, stick in people's minds. Fans might laugh it off today, but front offices and coaches remember. They remember who kept it professional, who handled adversity with grace, and who decided to turn their frustration into a social media circus. McCourty's advice should be taken seriously because he's not wrong. The league is unforgiving, and for quarterbacks especially, image and maturity matter almost as much as arm strength and accuracy. So, as the Browns march into their international matchup, the narratives around this team are split between health and headlines. On one side, the hope that Myles Garrett can keep terrorizing quarterbacks and anchoring a defense that might just carry this team through adversity. On the other, the distraction of a young quarterback learning the hard way that in the NFL, everything you do or don't do can and will be used to define you. Stefanski's challenge is to keep his roster locked in on the task ahead, because the only thing that will truly quiet the noise is winning. And that's where the Browns are right now. A team with talent, a team with promise, a team trying to piece itself together in the middle of both physical setbacks and viral distractions. Whether this becomes a story of resilience or a story of collapse will depend on how they respond in the weeks ahead. But one thing is certain. In Cleveland, the drama never seems too far away. Enjoying the content so far? Smash that like button and drop your take in the comments. We want to hear what you think about the Browns this season. The NFL world is buzzing, and if the whispers coming out of league circles are to be believed, we might be on the verge of one of the most shocking moves in recent memory. We're talking about a potential reunion that could flip the script in the AFC North and send shockwaves throughout the entire league. Yes, you heard it right. There's a growing rumor that Justin Jefferson, one of the most electrifying wide receivers in football, could be on his way to the Cleveland Browns. And if that actually happens, it wouldn't just be a blockbuster trade. It would be a full-circle moment for head coach Kevin Stefanski and the player he once helped mold into a superstar. Now, let's rewind the tape just a little bit. Back in Minnesota, before Stefanski made his way to Cleveland, he was the offensive coordinator for the Vikings. It was there, in that dynamic Minnesota offense, that a young Justin Jefferson burst onto the scene. Even though Stefanski wasn't the full-time play caller for Jefferson's rookie season, that came just after Stefanski left for the Browns. It's well known around NFL coaching circles that Stefanski had a role in shaping the Vikings' offensive identity leading up to Jefferson's arrival. There's a deep connection there, a mutual respect. And that's where this rumor starts to make some sense. Because when you connect the dots, it's not just fantasy, it's plausible. And maybe, just maybe, it's already in the works behind the scenes. Sources close to the situation have hinted that the Browns front office has been making quiet inquiries, gauging what it might take to pry Jefferson away from Minnesota. Now, this isn't just about adding another piece to the puzzle. This would be the piece. The crown jewel. Cleveland has built one of the most formidable defenses in the league. Myles Garrett is a game wrecker. The secondary is stacked. The defensive scheme is humming. But if there's been a lingering question mark around this team, it's the offense. More specifically, it's the lack of a true, elite, game-breaking wide receiver. Amari Cooper is reliable. Elijah Moore has potential. But Justin Jefferson? That's another level entirely. We're talking about a generational talent here. A receiver who, when healthy, is in the conversation for best in the league, no debate. And let's not ignore the elephant in the room. Jefferson's contract situation. He's due for a massive payday. He knows it. The Vikings know it. Everyone knows it. But here's where it gets murky. Minnesota has been in a bit of a transitional phase. Kirk Cousins is gone. The quarterback situation is up in the air. Are they rebuilding? Are they retooling? Are they trying to contend in a suddenly wide-open NFC North? The answers aren't clear. What is clear is that committing top-tier money to a wide receiver when your quarterback position is in flux might not be the most strategic move. So, if you're the Vikings front office, and you know Jefferson is going to command north of $30 million per year, maybe you start listening to offers. Not because you want to trade him, but because you might have to. Enter the Cleveland Browns, a team that, despite all the noise, is actually well-positioned to make a splash. They've got draft capital. They've got pieces. They've got a front office that's not afraid to take bold swings. And most importantly, they've got Kevin Stefanski, a coach who knows exactly what Jefferson can do in the right system. Just imagine it. Deshaun Watson, fully healthy and focused, throwing bombs to Justin Jefferson down the sideline while the defense clamps down on the other side. That's not just a playoff team. That's a contender. That's a team that can go toe-to-toe with the Chiefs, the Bills, the Ravens, anyone. Of course, any trade of this magnitude comes with complications. The money, the compensation, the egos. But sometimes, where there's smoke, there's fire. And there's been a whole lot of smoke around Berea lately. It's all whispers right now, back-channel chatter. Nothing official. No blockbuster notifications lighting up your phone. But behind closed doors, the gears may already be turning. Executives working late nights. Agents playing phone tag. Coaches reviewing tape. Because this isn't just another trade, it's a seismic shift. A move that could redefine the trajectory of two franchises and rewrite the storylines heading into the 2025 season. For Justin Jefferson, a move to Cleveland would be both surprising and poetic. He's always been a competitor, a showman, a player who rises under pressure and thrives under the lights. But in Minnesota, especially in recent seasons, the weight of carrying the offense has started to show. With injuries, inconsistency at quarterback, and shifting coaching philosophies, Jefferson has still put up eye-popping numbers. But you can tell he's hungry for more. More wins. More playoff games. Maybe even a ring. In Cleveland, under Stefanski, with a strong defense backing him up and a quarterback looking to redeem himself, Jefferson could finally have the structure he needs to elevate his game to legendary status. And then there's Stefanski. Say what you will about his tenure in Cleveland, but the man knows offense. He knows how to design plays that get his best players in space. He knows how to create mismatches. And most importantly, he knows what it takes to win in this league. A reunion with Jefferson wouldn't just be nostalgic, it would be strategic. It would be a calculated move to inject elite talent into an offense that, at times, has struggled to find its rhythm. And let's not forget, Stefanski is coaching for more than just wins right now. He's coaching for his legacy, for his job security, for the chance to bring a championship to a city that hasn't seen one in decades. Jefferson could be the missing piece of that puzzle. So, while nothing is confirmed and no official statements have been made, don't be surprised if this rumor gains traction in the coming weeks. The trade deadline may be months away, but these deals don't happen overnight. They're built brick by brick, quiet conversations, exploratory calls, subtle hints dropped in interviews. And when the moment is right, it all comes together in a flash. One tweet, one notification, and the NFL landscape changes forever. Could that moment be coming for Cleveland? Could Justin Jefferson really don the orange and brown? The idea might have seemed ridiculous a few months ago. But today, it's starting to feel real. There's an electricity in the air. You can feel it. Browns fans are already dreaming. Vikings fans are bracing. And the league is watching closely. Because if this deal goes down, it's not just another headline. It's a turning point. It's the kind of move that reshapes power dynamics and forces every other contender to sit up and pay attention. And if there's one thing we know about the NFL, it's this. Fortune favors the bold. The Browns have a chance to be bold, to be aggressive, to make a statement. The only question is, will they pull the trigger? Until then, all we can do is watch, wait, and wonder. But don't say we didn't warn you. The rumors are out there. The buzz is building. Justin Jefferson in Cleveland? It might sound like a fantasy, but in the NFL, fantasies have a funny way of becoming reality. Thanks for riding with us on another Browns Blitz. If you liked the video, share it with a fellow fan, hit subscribe, and ring that bell so you're always part of the Dawg Pound conversation. Go Browns!